like
Robin Hood taught me that it's okay for me to steal from the banks.
Welcome to the Cheaper Than Bail podcast. My name's Camber, the 20-year-old that has no idea what's going on in life.
And I'm Emily, and I'm 50, and I still have no idea what's going on in life. And this is my friend, Esther. I'll let her introduce herself because she has way too many amazing things for me to remember on the spot.
my name is Esther Lovelle. I never considered myself an artist, but I realized I'm an artist, so I love to create, whether it's doing makeup, photography, and pretty much a lifelong journey in studying spirituality and religious trauma that I personally experienced. So that's been a journey and something that I love to talk about and share with others.
And an amazing human. So today we're talking about, do you put your faith in God, Google, or the group chat? So Camber, how do you cope? What do you put your faith in?
I used to put my faith in substances, which is not the
It's relatable.
It is very, very relatable. But right now, I'm trying to find my vice. I haven't really found a coping skill that works for me. That's not, alcohol. So we're working on it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's your coping skill?
My coping skill used to be running, but running betrayed me. Like, it doesn't work anymore. I'm not sure if I have a good coping skill right now. I'm oversaturated with things. So a lot of the times it's overscheduling. I don't know. I want to say that I put my faith in God because I think that that's like the right answer, but I don't tend to pray when I'm supposed to, or when I need something, or when other people seem to do that. So I can't say that with a modicum of integrity. So I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll figure it out by the end of this podcast or the end of my life. I don't know. One of those. How do you cope? Put it in the comments. Maybe you can help me figure it out. How about you? How do you cope?
I think definitely like numbing tendencies or distractions or like too many things to keep me busy, because in the silence, then that's where I start to like things get dark, and whatever we've like suppressed tends to come out. And I think most of the time we don't know how to cope with it. So, like alcohol or drugs or porn or shopping or scrolling, anything to like not have to deal with maybe whatever's, going on. And I think I've probably done all of those things.
Yeah. I think that's really what we think coping is, right?
Right.
Is learning how not having to deal with it in the moment. Because that feels so good to just get a break from it.
Yeah.
And that's really not what, well, at least us therapists mean by coping.
Right.
That's not really coping. That's numbing.
Yes.
Learning the difference.
But I have found probably within the last couple of years, trying to find a spiritual path that like gives me some peace without being triggered from my past history. And I found that to be super difficult. So it's like I've been kind of through like an Eastern philosophy journey of like practicing yoga, meditation, and breath work, but doing it in a way that feels like authentic to me or right to me. And then sometimes being like, why am I doing this again? What is this supposed to do? Why are we doing breath work?
Because it doesn't like hit right. It doesn't hit right.
Right. Like sometimes it doesn't, if the belief or the reason behind it doesn't sit well with me. And if something doesn't sit well with me, it's like I cannot go forward. Yeah.
So part of why we invited the amazing Esther onto the show today is because she has a very unique story with, it's not a unique story. It's a story that happens a lot, but that isn't talked about a lot with religious trauma. And she's brave enough to come on and tell us a little bit about what happened to her and really her experiences in being involved in a cult. So where do you want to start?
Oh, gosh. I think there's so much confusion on like what the definition of a cult is. And it's like, it definitely is a super popular topic right now. There's a book called Cultish. I don't know. I can't remember the author, but it's like she does a good job of like trying to define it, and that like it can be something that you can find in like MLM groups. It can be something you can find like in a gym community. Like it can be military. It can be something just as basic as like, oh, this is Christianity, and like it. So the characteristics can sometimes be vague, but I don't know. It's almost like when you see it and you feel it and you recognize it, you just know, oh, that's happening. I'm in this, and I don't think people like intentionally like join cults because they want to. It just happens.
Yeah.
Or you're born into it, and that was, my case.
Your experience was you were born into
it. Yes, I was born into it, like 5th generation.
So there was 5 generations of you that were, so that cult lasted that long.
Yeah. So, am I saying names? Can I say names? Is that okay?
I think that's
okay. So I was raised in a branch off of Seventh-day Adventism, and I know some people might be familiar with like the Waco bombing and like Branch Davidians. So that was a branch off of Seventh-day Adventism. My family, like growing up, I just thought we were Seventh-day Adventists. Like I didn't think that we were like a different variation of it, but we were. And I didn't realize that until I was probably 12, and I went to like an Adventist summer camp. And then I realized that there were people from like all over the country coming here, and that they were not, like the way they practiced their faith was not the same as the way that my family practiced it. And I know that everybody's experiences, like within Adventism, can be like very different. And I have some friends like from California that were like, I had a great childhood. None of those things, it wasn't like that for us. Like, so there's definitely a huge like spectrum within that group of much more conservative and much more progressive, and how like radical it can be. And I think that happens within all religious organizations, regardless of like what label or title that it has. But for us, Adventism is like typically known as a cult because it has a leader that they believe that their word is inspired by God. So anything that this person says is divine and must be followed exactly. But the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the 80s kind of tried to rebrand to look more like basic Christianity, evangelical Christianity, because they had that bad reputation. And when that happened in my family, it was like, oh, no. We believe in like the founding fathers, and we're going to follow like the tradition of this group. So that is when they stopped practicing like the more basic things of the church. And I would say that's probably when it took a turn, when it went to the branch side of Adventism. So for me, my family was very anti-government, anti-medical, anti-military, pretty much in anything, anti-establishmentism. I was not, I don't have any medical records. I don't have any education records. I was homeschooled completely, like all the way.
So you didn't get to go to like a regular school.
Mm-mm.
You didn't.
No.
You were all kind of together.
Yes.
Okay.
I was raised on a farm. I was almost born in a school bus. We traveled all over the country in like a gutted out school bus, which sounds kind of cool. Like, oh, maybe it could be like some cool hippie vibes. But I'm like, why did you have to go so radical? Because the bus could have been cool, right?
Right.
Like hippie vibes could have been cool, but no, we had to be very radical with it. So, as a child, if you're in a very controlled environment, you don't know.
Right.
You have no idea that like what you're experiencing or what you're living is different, extremely different than like how other people are living.
Right.
And you have like no reference. And I think that happens in a lot of homes, even when there's like neglect and abuse. It's just a part of your life to know anything different. So it was more like in my teens when I like had these realizations that my childhood was not normal.
It usually is right around 12 where you start to realize.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and I think I was like very rebellious in my teens because of it, and I got pregnant at 16 and had a baby at 17 and got married and kind of like got away. Like I tried to get away from it.
Was it somebody who was in the same?
No, they were raised Southern Baptist. And I remember like bringing them to church. And I remember like the elder, like as we walked out of the church, I remember the elder like having a conversation with him and saying like, you don't belong here.
Oh.
And, like you're not one of us.
Oh.
And that like you should not be with this person because you're not one of us. Like it was not like, oh, let's welcome you into the fold and like
So new members were not welcome.
not like if you're an Adventist, you should be marrying an Adventist,
Okay.
and your ceremony should be performed by an Adventist, only in an Adventist church. Like they don't believe in like marrying outside of.
So it's something that seems different with the cult is like they stay together.
Oh yes,
it's very like
it's very like an us versus them.
Yeah, it's
And
isolative.
It's like, it's very isolative and very like separatism, and it's very fear based. Like, and I think you don't know because you don't know, but like that's how they keep control is through fear. So everything outside of is not safe or is like evilized, like made to be just bad, wrong, evil, wicked, and then there's also this flavor of like specialness.
Okay.
You know, like we're the chosen ones, we're the special ones, we're special. And I find this in almost all faith systems.
I get, yeah.
A lot of it sounds just, and so I'm really super curious about cults. And so I've been watching a lot of documentaries about them. And one of the cult leaders, I wish I could remember her name, is like, you're describing all religions. And to some extent, you really are. Yeah. Like they all kind of propose that they are special, that they know right, that they are getting divine revelations from God that seems consistent, that there are rules to follow. There are certain fears you're supposed to be afraid of not following the rules. Like there's a lot that makes it very, it's like what's the difference between,
where's the tilt of like how much, and I think like, a person that I follow on TikTok a lot, her name's Brittany Hartley, and she's written a book. She's an atheist spiritual director. Make that make sense? I don't know, but it's super cool. And she has a book called No Nonsense Guide to Spirituality. And like, she has helped me so much process my trauma and try to find a way to like have faith in something, like to even like take the box off the shelf. Because when I say that like religion was such a trigger and a trauma to me, when I came to the point of like, I'm just so done with this. Right. I'm done. I'm done. And it's like I put it on the box and I put it on the shelf and I couldn't cope or deal with it. And I was like, but then it's like it's hard to go through life like that to find something like to not have. I think it's a human need to believe in something bigger than yourself. I think that's just a basic human need that we have. Trying to figure out what that is or how it works for you, especially when you have religious trauma. And you're so reactive. And I found myself like to be like, okay, you can't walk through life being this reactive to people's faith systems. Like, you know, and I would get so upset, so easily upset by any sort of like religious talk or people like sharing their faith. And I'm like, this is not healthy. So we need to like address it.
Yes, you get to address that.
Right.
So one of the things that I think makes cults different is that there's usually repercussions for leaving.
Oh, yes. And I definitely experienced that. Like when I did marry this person who was of another faith, my whole entire family, which was all in the church, did not approve. They did not agree. Like I had an uncle who called me a whore and didn't come to my wedding because I'm married outside of the faith. So, I mean, yeah, it was like, and cousins, of course, I mean, you know, so it was very painful. And honestly, my family they would not have agreed to the marriage had I not been pregnant. So it was more of to like save face. It was more about that. But even through that experience, like I couldn't admit that I was pregnant at church and I had to wear like big coats and like stay covered and pretend that I wasn't. Like I was still shamed through that, whole process. And then in my head, I think, well, why did you keep going? Like, you don't have to go. But there was a fear of like, well, what will happen if I don't go? Like so much fear. And it took, I don't know, like, honestly, at 23, I re-drank the Kool-Aid and like rejoined the church and got rebaptized. And I was like so hardcore to be like, this is it. This has to be it. And I remember feeling, okay, well now everything will be okay because I'm like in line. Like my family will love me and be supportive because, like I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do. And I researched and researched and researched, and like I wanted to know everything about her faith and like why it was the true faith. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
going through that process it was like the beginning of the end of like raising questions and being like, well, why do we do this? If or why do we do that? Or why do we believe this? And I remember having those kinds of questions in church, and like the head elders being like, well, that's just not because this is what we're supposed to do.
Because we said so.
Yeah, because we said so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even my grandmother, like I remember researching like Hebrew language and like realizing the letter J isn't in the Hebrew language and being like, well, his name can't be Jesus then because like it's J. And like, and I said that because it was just like an epiphany to be like, well, that can't be the real name. If it's not in the Hebrew language, that's not what they were calling him then. And she was just like distraught that I would say such a thing and so like angry at me. And she was like, no, there's power in the name of Jesus. And like, that's his name. And it couldn't be another thing. And in my head, I'm like, well, this is just basic history. Like, this is just, anyway, it was very, that was my moment of realizing like, well, you can't say you're the one true faith if you aren't even, like, if you can't acknowledge that that's not historically accurate. Yeah.
And if you can't be curious about the religion and ask questions about it without being attacked.
Oh yeah. You don't. Like, that's probably one of the fundamental things of like the cult is that you don't question the authority. Like, you follow and you obey and you submit. You do not question it.
It's curious that you went back though, because I find that happens and like the psychology behind that intrigues me. It's like there's such a psychology that like pulls people back.
Yes.
And smart. You're an intelligent woman. You're smart. It's not.
I don't even know now when I think about it, like, how did I do that? Like, how did that happen?
Like, what would make me feel like that was the right thing to do?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think subconsciously it was me wanting the approval of my family and
that
like
makes sense.
Wanting their love and support.
And the familiarity.
And those things are conditional to being a part of the group. And if you're not part of the group, then you don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I found myself not in the same position, obviously, but more to where I would question a lot of things and my family's faith, and I would go and ask questions, and I would do these things, and it was all, you're thinking too much into it. Well, yes. I mean, if I'm I don't like
it's my eternal soul. I want to think a lot about
it. Just things never really made sense to me, and I'm also right now trying to figure out, well, do I believe in a higher? Well, I know I don't know. That's my thing.
And I think
I know, but I don't know, and that stresses me out.
Okay, for you to be in this middle area, that whatever your faith system is, it should be okay to question it. You should feel safe questioning it, and you should be supported while questioning it.
Yeah,
you don't find that.
No.
So it's like if you're not allowed to do those things, then the basis of your whole system is like fear and control. Mm-hmm. That you're not safe enough to question it, and for that to be, and that was very clear in our group. You don't do that.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
And you said something about you don't think people seek out to join a cult. It's not something that people are like looking to do. So how do you protect yourself from doing it by mistake?
Okay, well,
like how do you know? Because all of these things seems like the frog in the slowly boiling water, right? Yes, like they don't tell you like, hey, we're a cult, want to join?
Mm-hmm. And so I realize now, like looking back and reflecting on my journey when I left that, it's like I put it in a box but there were still like basic needs that needed to be met. And for me, I left the church and I joined a CrossFit gym. Like that's what happened. Like again, CrossFit has like all of the marks of cultish.
I'm not following you.
Like it's not as hardcore, but like okay, first of all, like there's a special language, and this is in the cultish book that was just published this year. I can't remember the author's name. She's amazing anyway. There's certain language, so like that's all. Like we use certain words that no one else knows the words, so like it's special. There's something special. We have a special language.
I feel like I want to tick that off. Like that's all religion. So okay, so check all religion.
Like there's a certain language.
There's a special language.
I can be like, man, that AMRAP today, and you're like, you're talking about?
Right.
That, or like,
And you want to know that.
yeah, so you want to
It's
know
like a
that then you
secret
feel
code,
special
and then
because you know the language.
Yeah, it's an exclusivity.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so
it's that
that's
specialness. Like, yep.
so that's
and that fit a need. Like, all, and then you're part of a community. You feel part of a group.
check.
You have like, so it's that, and I think that's a human biological.
Oh yeah, we want to feel connected.
built-in. We want to be like we're a tribal people.
Yes.
And so like that's the thing is that like religion, regardless of how chaotic or how orderly it is, like there are basic human needs that we have, and unfortunately, like having a shared myth larger than yourself fits that need. And this is something we all like believe in. This is something that like brings people together. And that need was met at a gym for sure.
Okay.
And like having a special language or being a part of it, feeling like it's a family, like it checked all those boxes. And I did that for like, that was like my life, my social group, my everything for like a really long period of time. And I realized it wasn't like that diverse. Like I didn't really have a lot of friends like outside of it. And then it's like,
so it was starting to be exclusive again. Like you were like, this is feeling like something I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I realized, well, then it's like you're pressured if you don't go.
Oh my gosh.
And then like you might be ostracized if you miss too many times, and then you feel guilty for not going.
Ooh.
Like, oh my God, this is like church. All of a sudden, I was like, this is so like church. I feel guilty, and then I feel like, oh, you probably should go. And I think that's the thing is like going to the gym in and of itself is not a bad thing, or
right,
like not
but it can
unhealthy
turn bad.
But you can turn anything can be turned in that way.
So not a lot of people know that I'm Mormon. I'm Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and there's a lot of misconceptions about that religion and it being a cult. And so Camber and I decided in preparation for this episode we were going to start watching about cults, and the first one that comes on is about Mormons. Yes. And I was like, no, this is like the LDS church. And I'm trying to explain to her, it's not us. And I'm realizing I sound like I'm part of a cult, then I'm defending them. I'm like, no, look at the dresses they wear. And I don't wear dresses like that. Like trying to explain that the differences between the two. And,
but you have to acknowledge that there is a spectrum there as well. Just like with Adventism, there's a spectrum.
Where you said like it's the branch that kind of comes off.
And there are still groups of people under like the mainstream label who have had really negative experiences. So like, and that's the thing is like, it doesn't like, and I don't want to like hurt people in their journey, but like, we have to recognize that all religions have traumatized people.
Oh, for sure.
All of them.
Oh.
It doesn't matter if it has enough check boxes to be considered a cult. Like, it could not be a cult, and it still can hurt people. Like, organized religions have hurt people. And it does, there are things in it that meet our needs as human beings, but even if it's just like basic evangelical Christianity, like people have been hurt from that system, or Islam, or even Buddhism. Like, there's a lot of sexism and like patriarchy still within even like, oh, Muslim Buddhist and I love everything, but like
they're all led by humans who are flawed, and perpetrators look for vulnerable people and people searching for a higher power or sense of belonging are particularly vulnerable. So it's just a fertile ground for humans to hurt humans. Yes. So it's not always about a cult or even the religion. Sometimes it's about perpetrators looking for victims.
Yes. And you don't know, like, and because people want to have a group, they want to feel safe, they want to
we want to fit in.
Yes,
we want to belong.
It's a need for belonging, and unfortunately the secular atheist agnostic community has not provided that for people. So even if you're like, I'm done with this is my freaking story, like I've gone all the way over to existentialism and nihilism, and like there is no point of life, there is no meaning, we're just like biological things floating on a rock in space.
Yeah, tried it all.
Yeah, there is no meaning to any of this. So then it's like, okay, well, if that really is the truth, and that life has no meaning, and I'm just this evolutionary thing, then what? only come from God? Is there
Yes,
something?
yes, they do.
No.
They come from being held accountable later.
I believe that, like, as a human being, that there's an inner wisdom and a light and a dark within all human beings, and that deep down, the golden rule thread that you find within all religions, whether it's a super culty or like just some basic checks, like we're going to guilt you for not coming. There's this do unto others as you would have done unto you. Like, I do believe that there is a common goodness and a common thread of we don't want to harm ourselves and we don't really desire to harm others. And I think all faith systems teach that at the basic core.
A lot of them are,
and that there
are really just the same.
Right, yes.
The same stories, the same.
Within them. Like, once you, and I still obsessively research, like, religions.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I just, like, I don't know if it's because of my childhood trauma.
I do it
I'm
as well.
still, like,
I want to make sure I have the right one.
Like, I want to know. I just want to know. I have this, like, deep need to know the truth or what's accurate. And I know truth is like, well, what is that? I don't know. We don't know, but I want to figure it out. You know what I mean?
When I ask people about their religion, I don't care what their religion is. I want to hear why.
Yeah.
Like, why
did you choose that?
Yeah. What do you love about that?
Yes. And I think that,
but I think I'm looking for permission to be able to go rub this and run mine. I think that's really what I'm looking for. If I'm honest,
like, where do our morals come from? It has to be God.
Yeah. Oh, I still have to behave. Like, I'm looking for that one that's like, you don't really have to behave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't found it yet.
But
I still have to
deal,
behave.
though, like, certain belief systems within religion cause us damage to us as humans.
That's
and like the theory of original sin and believing that you are born into this world wicked and cursed and that you are inherently bad and that the only thing that can save you is a sky dad who will like wash away your wickedness.
And I love how you bring it up like that because it honestly it stresses me out
like
so much because
if you were taught that, and most Christianity does believe in original sin, and that like the curse of Adam and Eve, and this is sin and wickedness, and everyone from that point on, and that's it, you're cursed to like eternal doom and death, and the only way now that you have a way to like a scapegoat is like this blood. Why does it have to be death? Why does death have to be the solution? Anyway, but that's what it is. So you need, like, there has to be atonement, right, for your wickedness. So like there has to be a sacrifice, there has to be blood, there has to be death in order for you then for the slate to be wiped clean. And now you're pure and holy and white because of this blood sacrifice, right? Then now you can be good and holy. But it's not because of your inherent self or worth or goodness. It's only because of something else or someone else doing that thing for you. And it sounds cool because then you think, oh, I'm so special. Like this person would do this for me. And you don't have to agree. You can agree. It's okay. Like I'm cool with it. But my thing is that being like shoved into me from a very young age, that in and of myself, I am not good. As a child, when you like really sit in that and believe it, like it's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling to think that a baby can come out of the womb and not be pure.
Oh, I just don't believe that.
I don't believe it either. I don't believe in the theory of original sin. And now I know there are Christians that don't believe it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, thank God.
And I think about you like Carl Jung.
Yes, absolutely.
So Carl Jung and his archetypes and
the archetypes.
And they go across all cultures, right? And it's like the quest. And it's usually in a teenager. It's this journey to find your goodness. This quest to find that you are good. And it's always a fight good against evil.
Yep.
And I really view religion that way. It's this quest good against evil. And
to
it's
overcome
the evil, to become good.
To find yourself.
And and there's always like that one who we rely on to save us all. Like all of it is like this. And that's what religion is in summary, really, is that thing.
And I love that you brought him up because, like, Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. I don't know if you're familiar with Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. He talks. He it's based on Pearl Young ideology, and he talks a lot about that our brains like stories.
Yes.
So as humans, we want a story, and when there's missing parts, like we'll fill in the blanks real quick because that's what makes sense to us is to have a story. And he talks about these stories from the beginning of beginnings, that it's a repetitive story in different faith systems all over the world. So there's something to it that our human psyche goes through that experience.
Yeah.
And that I would put more faith in that than I would.
And is it just
talking about original sin?
I completely agree. Because, I mean, I watched, and I guess it's definitely a part of where I'm from, too. But specifically in my family, we went from being very religious as children. We were going to church every Sunday. It was a whole thing. And then suddenly we stopped one Sunday and we never went back.
Mm-hmm.
So like what happened? And then
you're like, what is happening?
No, and then we would go back again, and then we would stop. So it created all these questions for me, and it created, well, if we're, because original sin, we were Christian. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. If we were
the back and forth of
Thank
church,
you.
and you as
Yes.
a child not being able to understand why that's happening.
Yep, perfect. But it just created so many questions that I still live in today, and I've been trying to research in all the different types of religions, and I just can't find one that really resonates with me. And it's, do I even? And I've never said that out loud.
I know, it's okay.
Do I even believe? Like, because it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
It truly doesn't. I just want to feel normal like everybody else.
Yeah.
And just, okay, yeah, sure.
And here's the thing, like, we have to acknowledge that wherever you were born and raised is going to define what your belief system is. Like, if you were born in the Middle East, you would not be a Christian.
Yep.
If you were born in South America, you would not be a Christian. Like, it is not like at some point all of these offerings are put in front of you and you go, I think I'm going to choose Judaism. That kind of feels good. Yeah, I'll look at that. I'm going to choose it. You don't have that choice. That choice is taken from you. You were born into a faith system and you don't know anything else, and most are not exposed to anything else. So you're already like ingrained into a certain way of thinking, and it's very difficult for you to even like acknowledge or accept that other people believe a different way or think a different way, or that others even, that there's a table and there's like you could choose something different. You could choose a different path.
Yeah. And I think another big struggle that a lot of people have is, okay, well, if there is this higher power and I'm not doing sin, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to, why are these things still consistently happening to me? If you really did love me and you really did everything that you could for me, why would you put these things? And then you get told, well, God gives his toughest things to us toughest soldiers.
Well, do you believe in good and evil?
Well, yeah, then it comes to light and dark, and typically
I think it's
Christianity
good and evil.
and other faith systems that are Abrahamic, I would say, it's not God's fault, it's the devil's fault.
Yeah.
Like, bad things are not because of God, they're because of the devil. And then it's like, well then why would he allow that to happen? Oh, well, because of free will, of course. So it's like, oh, but still though, if he could just like snap and make everything good, why wouldn't he just do that? Like, I don't. And so those are questions that I had as a child.
Because that would be so boring.
Right. So then it's like, if I go outside of this faith system, and there's others, there's so many.
It really is a lot.
And to look at it and go, okay, can we just as humans get to the place to accept that, like, yes, we live in a universe that has order, but also there is chaos. And as humans, can we just accept that without making a myth story to make it make sense? Because we want to have a story. We want there to be a good guy and a bad guy. We want there to be light and dark. We want there to be good and bad, because in our simple little human minds, that's the only way we can cope.
Humans like to feel like they have control.
Yes. And religion,
things like that,
really
things like God only gives me as much as I can handle, feels like I'm in control of something that I'm completely not in control over. Like somebody's making sure I don't get more than I can handle. I can tell you I couldn't handle 10 traumas ago, and I'm still getting them bombarded. Nobody gives a shit that I couldn't handle them, and I'm still getting them. So like, there's no bartering system for that.
Right.
I think humans just like to feel in control.
Yeah, and religion does that. It fits that need. Because for us to go, well, how could there be, how can that war happen and there be starving children in that country? And how could God allow that to happen? And it's like the kindergarten version, oh, well, that wasn't God, it's the devil, because otherwise then you can't go on. You know what I mean? Like, it's a way for you to cope with life.
Like, I have to believe the world is good, else I can't survive.
Right. And I can tell you, like, completely having removed religion out of my life and going straight into like agnosticism or existentialism, into nihilism, like, it is a very dark place. But I'm thankful for that journey, because sometimes you just wipe the slate clean. And when you have religious trauma, I think it's just a part of the journey, because you need to remove everything. And it's almost like this starting from scratch place. And that's something that I've personally experienced, that I can say, okay, if there's nothing, like there's no afterlife, I don't have a soul, there's nothing magical or sparkly, which I do believe that there's magical and sparkly things, but let's just pretend there's not. Now what? Now how do I move forward? If this is it, how do I live in a life? I live in a way that is meaningful to me, that I get to, like, I'm the author of my story.
How do I choose not to rob banks and light fires?
Because then it's like, what are your core values? What are your ethics? What are your morals? If you don't believe that it came from Sky Dad, well, where do they come from? So it's like, if we look in nature, you can see, like, they throw all the rats together, and if this rat's being mean, these rats won't play with that rat. So, like, in nature, there are social behavioral consequences for how you act.
Are people still going to play with me if I rob banks? I'm going to have a lot of money.
I would. Yeah, I don't know. We do like power, though. We do naturally.
I don't want power, and I'm not going to hurt any of the people. I'm just going to spend all the money.
Yeah.
I feel like the FBI is like...
unethical? We might be just... Is
it unethical?
You know what? My dad right now would be like, oh, you're on the list.
You know what? Robin Hood...
Yeah.
Like, Robin Hood taught me...
He doesn't have the internet, so he'll never see this, but like...
Robin Hood taught me that it's okay for me to steal from the banks.
Yeah. So, like, my ethics system says everyone should have food.
Yeah. So I'm going to go rob banks now.
Yeah.
I gotta go. We're gone. I'm out of here. We need a better car though, because I'm not gonna get away in this little soccer mom car.
We have to buy the car. Okay.
We don't buy the car.
We'll steal the car first, then rob the bank.
I can hotwire one. I got you.
We gotta make sure that this is actually cheaper than bail. Because who has bail? Because I think that
bail money. Bail money.
We don't have bail money. That's why we're doing this podcast.
I'm a poor starving artist.
I think that this episode is going to prove that religious trauma is not, in fact, cheaper than bail.
True, very true. So, yeah, sorry we got off base. It's fine, though. It's a journey. Life is a journey, and I think that's the whole point of all of it, is that, like, there are ups and downs, and sometimes there is no story that makes sense, and sometimes we have to just, like, grab life by the reins instead of, like, being a victim to this system that says, oh, it happened because of good and bad. It just, write your own story, create your own destiny, and, like, choose to, like, actively participate in life. And I think me going to the point of, like, wiping the slate clean, now I can step back into, okay, if I had a faith, what is my faith? And what does spirituality, like, mean to me? And, like, how do I move forward in a way where I'm not triggered by my trauma? And that I can, like, truly heal and continue, my healing journey, because it is not linear.
If only. I would love to. I would love to check that box and be done.
Like, I'm healed. Check.
Yes, if only. Even just one of the traumas. Just let me check one off.
Pick a struggle.
So if you could give anybody that has survived some kind of religious trauma some advice, like the first step towards healing, what would it be?
I mean, I think
no pressure.
I know, right? I think number one is that you are not alone, and that your feelings are valid, and that there are others that have gone through this process and have been hurt by religion. Defined as a cult or not defined as a cult. People have been harmed by organized religions, and that's something that I think people in faith systems and out of faith systems need to acknowledge. That and that even the medical professional field, in the field of psychology, like, we need to acknowledge that some faith systems, a lot of faith systems, have harmed people. And then maybe we can move forward. Because, you know, I used to think that we just need to get rid of religion. We just need to get rid of it because it's just hurting people. But now I realize that it serves a purpose and that it brings people together and that there's still good there. And that as humans, we want something bigger than ourselves to bring us together. And maybe that's okay. Like, it's okay for that to be there. So, yeah, just like, your feelings are valid. Yes, religion harmed you, and that is okay. And that everyone that's actively participating in a religious system needs to acknowledge that. And then really think, what are they doing to contribute to that or to not be a part of that? Like, how are you, if you are actively participating in a religious system right now, are you truly living that faith or are you harming people? And to, you know, represent that faith system in a way that's authentic to what you're living. And if you're not living authentically in that faith system, then, like, ask yourself why. Because I think that's really important to me, to live authentic. And if you're like, gosh, I don't know what I believe right now, or I don't know if I agree with this anymore.
That's okay.
Yes.
Yes, you don't have to have all the answers.
Yes.
I don't know why we think we do.
I don't have all the answers. I still don't know.
I mean, that's the whole premise of our podcast. Like, she's 20, she doesn't know everything. Yes. I'm 50 and I don't know everything. So I think until you feel comfortable talking about religious trauma, let us amplify the voices for you. There's a lot of religious trauma. We live in the Bible Belt, and even if you don't, there's a lot of religious trauma. Right. So if you feel comfortable telling your stories in the comments, we would like to hear your stories. And
absolutely. And talking about it, like, when we keep our hurt inside, it grows and festers.
It becomes caustic and insidious.
And talking about it can be so empowering and healing for you to, like, grab the reins of your story and be like, this is my story. Yes. And I'm the writer of my book, and I get to say, this is what it was for me, this is what it did to me, but, you know, this is how I'm going to choose to move forward. And
you telling your story can help somebody else feel confident to tell their own story. Like, this did really happen to me. Yeah. This is a thing. Yeah, it did happen to me.
I still actively am living through it, like, and trying to
being amazing at the same time. Yeah. You can do both. That's something that humans sometimes forget. We feel like we have to be happy or sad, good or bad, but you can be healing from something super hard and living an amazing life at the same time. And I feel like you're a great example of that. Like, going to school, like, exploring, living your art, traveling, and also healing at the same time. You can do both at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We really appreciate you coming. Thank you so much.
This has been honestly.
Yeah. And I didn't cry. I'm so proud of myself.
There were crying is okay.
I know, you're right. It is. It's okay. But, you know, in front of everyone, it's not.
It's also okay not to cry if you don't feel like it. Do you feel like there was anything that we should have asked you that we did not?
I don't think so, but I do feel like the need to share that, like, I'm a very spiritual person now. Like, I actively practice my spirituality every day. I feel like closer.
You've taken it back.
Yeah.
That's part of healing. You've taken it back.
Yeah.
It was taken from you, and you took it back.
Yeah.
I love that.